Hello and welcome to the Granstrom Podcast. On this week's Super Soul Model series, I'm speaking with Gita Kshatriya, who is a holistic wellness coach. Gita is helping motivate and inspire people to live well by creating mindfulness and healthy habits, especially around nutrition, active living, rest and recovery, and generally making people accountable for their healthy lifestyle. I am so thrilled to have Gita. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to have this conversation. I was so inspired by you when I first met you and really excited about this.
So just a little origin about how Gita and I met one another. Actually, I met Gita and her whole family at Florence Airport a few weeks ago. And I accidentally bumped into her husband at the water machine, and he was having difficulty trying to get the water out the vending machine. I said, I'll just get you a water. And before too long, Gita was way up the queue and getting on the plane, and she said, well, come with us, you're with our family now. So I kind of was blessed to be pulled up and make myself a new family. We got talking, and lo and behold, here we are having a conversation about holistic living and wellness. And I said to Gita, well, you better come on my podcast because this is what I'm all about. And so I'm thrilled to speak with you, Gita, thrilled to pick your brains on nutrition, wellness, active living, rest and recovery, how you do it and how you've helped so many people, especially with your blog and with your Insta posts. So I guess my first thing to ask you before we get going is, how did you get into this wellness and holistic journey of yours?
Wow. Well, number one, welcome to my family. We're Indian and we embrace everybody. And so right away, when we were at the Florence airport, I thought, yep, he needs to be in our family. So I said, come up to my queue, like to my part of the queue. So welcome to my family, and thanks again for having me on. My wellness journey actually, when I think back on it, probably started about 16 years ago. So 16 years ago is when I had my youngest child, Rohan, who you met. So now obviously he's 16. But at that time, it was sort of my life, my wellness journey post-child, post-Rohan and pre-Rohan. So before Rohan, I did not work out at all. I ate whatever I felt like, drank whatever I felt like, just wasn't conscious of it. I probably knew, that I should follow some healthy habits, probably should work out, eat well, drink lots of water. I just never did it. I always found an excuse not to. But after Rohan was born, I thought, you know what? I do want to spend the rest of my life being able to keep up with my kids, being healthy. And so at that point is when I started. And the first thing I did was I said, I'm going to get on the treadmill and try to run 3 miles. Not right away, obviously. It was a journey. It was a process.
And had you ever run 3 miles before that time?
Never. I literally could not run 1 block without running out of breath. And so, as with anything, I came up with a program and I worked, I committed, and within 6 weeks, I went from not running at all, sitting on the couch, to running 3 miles in 30 minutes. But along with that, also realized that what I ate mattered as well. How much water I drank mattered also. And that really was the start of my personal wellness journey.
Yeah.
And so just kind of kept always doing research, trying to find different ways to incorporate health. But one big thing that I had, I think, going for me and still have going for me is my culture, which has such great holistic type nutrition, recipes, ideas, wellness ideas regarding meditation, that I thought, well, I can put this together and really help other people as well.
Absolutely. And just for people who don't know, I've done a little research on Gita, and one of the things that I've been blessed with is that I'm a pattern spotter. And it's amazing that we really attract people who have similar energy to us wherever we go. And in holistic living, and I studied Ayurvedic medicine years ago, and I'm fascinated by Ayurvedic medicine. And Gita's surname is actually Kshatriya, and it's one of the 4 Vedic surnames that they have. And Kshatriya is actually the warrior surname in the Vedas. In the Vedics, excuse me if I got that, right? Yes. So,
got it. Yes.
And that really, when she said that my surname means warrior, that really hit a spot in my heart, actually, when she was pulling me up the queue to come into the family. And one of my friends who I was traveling with, he also came up and was like, amazing new friends, when we'd all gone up in the airport queue.
Yes,
And Geeta and I, as we were speaking, I was like, wow, the warrior is such an important part of our makeup when we commit to health and wellness. And it's not always easy. And for me in my journey, it's been different. You know, I used to drink a lot, I used to smoke a lot, and now that's not me at all. And so I had to go through my own initiation of adversity to go, right, I'm going to commit to something very different. So anybody who's listening, it's never easy when you get at the beginning. It's always the hardest part, that birth part of committing to a new version of yourself. Like Gita was saying, is like getting up, getting on, committing to that 3 miles is really tough because it goes against what you already know.
it does. Yes, it does. And I think, though, that that's a great point is that you have to visualize yourself as the warrior, as the person that's healthy, the person that works out. You have to, because if not, you'll always stay where you're at. You'll stay stagnant, but you have to visualize yourself and then move towards that.
Yeah.
And there never is that perfect time, is there? There's always that project. There's always, oh, well, I have young children, or I have I'm traveling or whatnot. But if you can
Or
take
you
that
have a
situation,
business, or you can make all the
yes,
excuses you want under the sun, but at some
yes,
point you've got to commit. You've got to commit
absolutely.
without fail, and that is tapping into your inner warrior. And what I love about Gita and her story and what she's sharing is that her surname really tells a subliminal tale. And I don't know if you're listening. If you're listening, you can't see, but if you're watching, you can see behind her. There's a blackboard full of uh, unusual letters if you don't know what it means. But
Yes,
just for anybody who's listening who can't actually see what's behind you on your blackboard, Gita, share with us what that actually does, because I really
sure.
believe that everything that we do has subliminal messages for us that are either helping us gravitate to who we want to become, or or perhaps even sending a message that of something we don't realize yet, but we can become aware of and move away from.
Absolutely. So if you can't see, and just so you know, that I'm sitting at my in my dining room at the table, which is where our family gathers every evening for meals. And that's something that we've instilled in the kids, that we eat together as a family at the dining table. When the children were younger, I actually used to teach them Gujarati, which is the language that our family speaks in India. So and since they've grown and gotten busy schedules and all, I've stopped teaching them, but I never wanted them to forget what I taught them. So I created a blackboard with some of the basic words and letters, which are symbols. To us, they look like symbols. And I put that on the dining table wall, so that when we gather at the table, even if they just look at it and it's a subliminal message, it's something that they see in the kind of in the back of their mind, they see it and they're like, oh yeah, I remember, this is the language that mom taught me when I was younger and that I should remember. Subliminal messages, kind of as an identity to who they are. And that's, again, similar to what we talk about subliminally. If we can visualize ourselves as healthy, that we embrace wellness, that's what we will embody, that's what we will live, and that's what we always want to remember.
And it's beautiful that you keep, what the mind sees, the mind takes on. But if it's out of sight and out of mind, it's a bit like in your house. If you don't put fruit on the table, you're probably
Yes,
not going to eat fruit. But if the fruit and the fresh veg is in the kit, is in the fridge, and you've got healthy snacks available to pick on, and there's
yes,
no, you know, bad snacks or only bad snacks there, you're going to snack on whatever's in your house. So if it's there,
absolutely.
you're going to be picking up on it. And in Feng Shui, which I studied years ago, is that when there is fresh fruit and things on the table available, it looks abundant, it's healthy. And
Yes,
this is all sending that subliminal message to say vitality and vibrance and color, which is found
yes.
in fresh fruit and veggies, is what the body naturally wants anyway.
Exactly. It's funny you say that, because I've created a 6-week program that I've put some groups through, and have done some one-on-one coaching as well. And one of the big things with nutrition is try to eat clean food. So if it was made in a plant, don't eat it. If it is a plant, eat it. If it's something that's minimally processed, if it comes in a box, read the ingredients. If it's got 15 ingredients that you don't know, you probably shouldn't be eating it. And one of the first things as people start this program, what I have them do is actually go through their refrigerator, their pantry, also their desk at their office, and any cabinets where they store food, and say, get rid of all of the things you probably shouldn't be eating anyway, bags of processed foods. Get rid of all that and replace it and replenish it with things you should be eating, so that when hunger strikes, you open the refrigerator. If you see a piece of cake, you may want to eat the piece of cake, but if you see carrots and hummus, and that's what is there, you'll probably reach for that, and it's such a better choice. Not to say we should never indulge. We all indulge, but for the most part, and this is sort of also where this idea of an 80-20 lifestyle comes in. 80-90% of the time, try to eat whole foods, and maybe 10% of the time you can indulge. But out of sight, you're not going to reach for it. You're not going to think of it. You open the pantry door, and when you're hungry, see a bag of chips, you're probably going to go for that.
So true, so true. I mean, you're gonna, my sister bought me in English we have these Kit Kat bars. I don't know if you get them in the States.
Oh yes, love Kit Kat.
Gita lives in Phoenix, Arizona. But we have like Kit Kats and Snickers and stuff like that. I know you have more Hershey bars and stuff like that in the States. But my sister bought these packs, and I'd left it in the cupboard in the pantry for like 3 weeks. And then one day I just ate it because it was there, wasn't it? So
now it's calling out your name.
Yeah. But what I tend to find is that I definitely, for me, in the last 20 years or so, since I started my health journey and my journey to well-being, is that I have that 80-20 rule, and I'm 80% healthy, natural foods, and 20% naughty, I call it, 20% whatever I want. But 80% of my stuff is absolutely, as organic as possible.
Yeah.
It served me so well for so long.
And I think that 80-20, and the 80-20 rule actually helps you towards wellness, because if you feel constricted and constrained, and that you aren't able to indulge, or restricted, you're sort of going to start feeling some resentment. And maybe then when you do have something in front of you, you might overdo it. So having that balanced lifestyle is actually great for wellness.
Yeah. And if you do start to resent what you're doing, you're just going to rebel, because I think we as human beings naturally rebel. You don't want to be told what to do. No. But if you are educated enough to know that eating really well, unprocessed, fresh fruits, legumes, nuts, and seeds, and we're going to get into some of Gita's cooking, because I've looked online and she is an incredible chef, and maybe she can give us a snack or two, or at least guide us towards her blog.
Yeah.
But when we're eating like that, the body is going to feel replenished. It's going to reboot. It's going to give you the natural energy and vitality so that you can perform at your highest level. And hopefully not get too tired. There's certain different energies that are really important for you: natural energy, universal energy, physical energy, emotional energy, and mental energy. All of these play such a key part in your vitality and your journey of well-being. If you can get them in balance, which is what Gita shares, especially with the nutrition, then you're going to really have a thriving life, and a family where you can create a legacy where they pass it on too.
Absolutely. Yes. And what you do, your children see, and they embody that as well. So, we've created this culture of healthy living, and we like to eat well. We like to indulge. We love to work out. We will like to go on vacations and just hang out at the beach as well. And so they've embraced that also. When we were just recently in Europe, which is where we met James, at the Florence airport, but we made it a point to go to a CrossFit gym in Rome, because we just wanted to, one, get in a workout, but two, see how other people work out. Did
the kids go as well?
Yes, absolutely. Wow. Oh, they can whip our butts, but we also are much older than them, so it's all right.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing that you're getting your kids to do that. I've got my nephews and nieces here currently on vacation here in Spain with us, and we're swimming every day. The kids are about 11, two of the twins are 11, and my niece is 14. But we're swimming all day long, and I'm a bit of a fish. I'm quite good in the water, so
Yeah,
we're teaching them that just moving the body all day long
exactly.
is such a good thing.
Such just having that mindset of being active. We when we were in Rome and Florence and London, we walked pretty much everywhere. We would walk. I think the kids calculated on their fancy watches that we were probably walking 7 to 8 miles a day.
That's
Um,
that's a lot.
and so if you can't go work out, go for a walk. If you have little children and you think, oh my gosh, I can't get in a workout, take them to the park and let them run around and you run around after them. So build that into your lifestyle, and that's just one step towards your health as well.
Right, so Gita, I just wanted to sort of take this conversation a little bit further now because I'm quite excited about you. One of the things that you believe is a big mind-body connection. Now, I see this daily with my own work and my own studies and education with regards to health and well-being. Talk to us a little about what you've discovered with the mind-body connection and how important that is for someone's holistic wellness journey.
Well, I mean, I think that there's a quote that I read, which I think really encompasses it all. It's by a gentleman named Greg Anderson. He's a race car driver, but he's obviously into wellness as well. He says, wellness is a complete integration of mind, body, spirit. So everything we do, we think, we feel, we believe has an effect on our state of well-being. So how many times have you woken up in the morning and you're like, oh, I am just too tired and I'm not going to go work out. But how many times have you forced yourself to work out and at the end of it you say, God, I feel so great. Your body, if you can overcome sometimes what your body is saying, and sometimes you need to listen to what your body is saying. So you really have to pay attention. Your body hears everything your mind is saying, and vice versa as well. So it's such a complete integration.
So this is a
Which
really good question that I want to ask you here because it's a delicate balance that we're trying to help hopefully the audience here. How do you know when you can overcome the body saying I'm too tired
Yeah.
versus actual need for rest and recovery? Because that is a massive point where you get this equilibrium going on.
Right. And
So,
I think that a big part of it is to create a routine. And if you can create a routine, then you become so much better at paying attention to and listening to your body and what it's saying. So and your body then starts craving. Now, if you've had a massive work week, or you've had, been on vacation, a massive traveling, or you feel ill, you're not feeling well. Those are signs you need to listen to your body and maybe take a rest day. But if you're following your routine, all other things being fine, then sometimes your mind has to overcome that feeling of I'm tired. Sometimes you just need to get out and get moving, and that'll make you feel better. So you almost have to kind of take a look at your circumstance. Okay, why am I feeling this way? Is it just that I'm just not in the mood? Or do you physically have something going on? Was there
sure.
something,
If there are aches and pains, they're telling you something.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And that also goes true, is true for hunger. When you can set your body to a routine, so you eat generally at the same time every day, you have a snack at the same time, breakfast, lunch, dinner, maybe two snack times in between. If you continue that for a period of time, eventually your body will know. You won't even have to look at the time. Your body will know, hey, it's breakfast time. Feed me. It's 7:15. You look up and you're like, oh, it's around 7. That's when I usually eat breakfast. Or, I usually have a protein shake at 3 p.m. Well, my stomach just kind of starts telling me, hey, where's that protein shake? I look up and it's like, yeah, 2:45, 3 o'clock. It's about that time. You can almost train your body with routine, which is a big thing.
And that's where you started your journey when the initial 3 mile run. Did the food follow suit, the nutrition, or where was that?
Ex- yeah, no, absolutely. Because while, I started slow, but then as you start increasing the intensity, your body is starting to tell you, hey, you're doing something different that you haven't done previously. Now I need some nutrition to follow.
Yeah,
Okay, well, what is that nutrition going to be? Probably going to need some good carbs,
yeah.
probably going to need some protein to start building some muscle, um, probably going to need a lot of water for hydration. So these are some of the basic things. We know we should do these things, but to put it together is sort of where I guide people.
That's
Um,
fantastic. I remember when I started my journey, I may have a lot of knowledge these days, but when I first started, I had zero. So I had to go
Yeah,
out and acquire it. That's why I love to share what I've learned along the way and what's really worked, and meet
yeah,
other experts like your good self, just to find
yeah,
out what works for it. And is there a common denominator? When I first started, I remember I was trying to stop drinking because that's was what the culture was in the UK when you were a kid. You're 18, 19, 20. There's not much else to do. And I was like, right,
yeah,
this has got to stop. But it took me another 10 years before I actually stopped. And so
right.
that's when I committed to running a marathon. So I ran the London Marathon like
Oh,
in the
amazing.
year, I can't remember what it was. It was like early 2000s.
Yeah,
And that made me go, I'm not going to drink for this. And then I'm going to become plant-based as well. So I was weaning off becoming more
yes.
plant-based.
Hmm.
Sorry, weaning off meat to become more plant-based. And that's
Right.
exactly what happened. And I've been plant-based for the same amount of time, almost 20 years as the amount of being sober or not drinking.
Yes. Yes.
And the vitality and the energy has been unparalleled. But you've got to
Yeah.
find out what works for you. And what I love
Absolutely.
about what Gita shares in her blog. So guys, you've got to check out her blog, at Live Well with Gita. But it's the committing to health. So where would you start committing to health if someone was new and just going, right, I understand this, I know it's good for me,
Right.
but
But
where do you start?
well, you start where you are. That's what I say. You start where you are with what you have. So the first thing is to commit. The first thing is to say those words. I want to be healthy. I need to make a change, or this is it. Like, this is where my wellness journey starts. And once you do, um, then you take a look at what your life looks like. What does your family life look like? What does your nutrition look like? What do your workouts and your active lifestyle look like? And just start making some small changes. Like, as I said before, if you are a new mother and you have a newborn and you want to start your wellness journey, start now. Don't make excuses to say, well, I think I'll start once my child is 5. Well, because then at 5, your child's going to be running around. Then what are you going to do? Right? So start now, take a look at what your lifestyle is, and then start making some little tweaks. So for example, for that newborn, for the mother that has a newborn, you can still go on walks. Walks are wonderful, and it's a great way to be active. Maybe while you walk, you can add some lunges. There's never a bad time to incorporate healthy foods, healthy whole foods. So lentils, fruits, vegetables. Try to make your diet consist of that. There's never a bad time for that. That's why I say start where you are, assess assess where you are, and then start making some small changes. Take a look at your pantry, and maybe you start there. Maybe you do just take out, maybe you do some swaps. Maybe you love rice. Okay, well, maybe let's try to swap that out for quinoa or brown rice. Maybe, for at least one meal or two. Just making little swaps can make a huge difference over time as well.
So would you say this is how you simplify your outlook, just by doing these little simple swaps?
Exactly, exactly. The other thing is, like, for example, I talk about active life and nutrition; they go well, together. But I had a client that had COVID recently, suffered through COVID, but also was suffering through symptoms of long COVID. So she always said, she goes, "Well, I can eat well, but I'm just don't have the energy to go work out." So two things we did. One, we increased her water intake, which it's such a simple thing. Water gives you vitality, it gives you energy. While it may not have any of those, nutrition, vitamin C, but those types of things, it definitely, the hydration that your organs need, it provides that. And having enough water is important. So one, I got her on water, but number two, I said, don't think that, maybe you're going to climb a mountain. We live in Phoenix and there's tons of hiking here. I said, why don't you start by at least walking 1 block, or maybe walk 10 minutes, and then maybe add 5 minutes each day, and slowly build it up. And I worked with her for 6 weeks. And by the end of it, she in fact did climb a mountain. She climbed 3 miles up a mountain. And she says, I never thought I could do this. But you have to start somewhere. And
Absolutely. You've got to
right,
start.
right.
And I love just to keep it simple and just add. It's just building and add little by little.
Right.
Yeah. Gita, I mean, I would love to go through all your food list, but what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to put a link for everybody at the end of this podcast where they can look at your blog, look at all your amazing recipes and all the little
Yeah,
snacks that you make, you know, for your family or just for yourself or whoever you're
absolutely.
looking after. All your snacks look absolutely delicious. So I'm going to
Thank
make sure
you.
your links are all available. But Gita, presents like and helps people personally in group settings and also helps corporate wellness and develops corporate wellness programs. Is there anything that you'd just like to share, you know, where people can find more about you, Gita, other than that? I will put all the links here, but you know, just
Yeah,
tell us about
yeah.
where
So
they can find you.
yeah, so Instagram is a great place to find me. Live Well with Gita, and it's just a place where I like to share and try to motivate people, share some knowledge that I've gained over the last few years, and also just a place that I like to connect with other people as well. So Live Well with Gita is a great place. Regarding the corporate wellness, you can also find me on LinkedIn at Live Well with Gita. I've worked with companies and even departments within companies who like to go through their own personal group challenges because in a group setting and you can motivate each other and keep each other accountable. It's such a, it just works wonders. So LinkedIn is another place that you can be in touch with me. Facebook, and then just a side note is also I have a blog with all my recipes, and it's called Warrior in the Kitchen. It's called warriorinthekitchen.com. So definitely go there. You'll find a ton of recipes that are all vegetarian and many of them plant-based as well.
Beautiful. Gita, thanks for coming on the show. Been a joy to speak to you, and thanks for all your wisdom and knowledge.
Thank you, James. This was a lot of fun.